Not Xi Jinping, not Kamala Harris, not George Soros. The biggest enemy of the 47th President of the US, Donald Trump, is sitting right there in Washington, D.C., the deep state, a term that describes a powerful network of officials within the government who work against those elected and against the interests of the people. Now, Trump's agenda is to dismantle the deep state once and for all. Here is Trump's 10-point agenda, 10-point plan on how he is going to ensure the deep state is neutered before he leaves the White House after 4 years. Number one, bringing back control over bureaucrats. Trump's first move would be to reissue an executive order from 2020 which aims to let the president remove government officers or employees he sees as rogue bureaucrats. Normally, federal employees are protected by certain rules, making it harder to fire them. Trump argues that these protections sometimes allow people within the government to act on their own agendas. This reissued order would let the president fire officials who are, in his view, standing in the way of the country's best interests. Number two, reforming national security and intelligence agencies. Trump's plan includes cleaning out what he calls corrupt officials in national security and intelligence agencies. This means he believes there are people within agencies like the CIA or FBI who use their positions not to protect the country but to advance personal or political goals. Number three, reforming FISA or FISA courts. Trump also plans to overhaul FISA courts. FISA, short for the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, gives certain courts the power to approve secret surveillance on people suspected of spying or terrorism. Now, Trump claims these courts have approved surveillance requests that were based on false or misleading information, especially during his 2016 campaign. By reforming these courts, he hopes to make sure that these powerful tools of surveillance are not abused in the future. Number four, exposing hoaxes and power abuses. Trump has often talked about hoaxes and abuses of power that he believes have hurt the nation and his presidency. He wants to bring transparency to these issues, showing the American people what he claims are the unfair attacks and allegations that targeted him. He believes that exposing this corruption will help heal divisions and restore trust in government. Number five, cracking down on leakers. Another key point of Trump's plan is to go after government leakers. He claims that there are officials who secretly share information with media outlets in order to push their own views and harm the government. Trump believes these leaks damage national security and create a false narrative in the media. He plans a strong crackdown on anyone in the government who leaks information to the press. Number six, strengthening inspector generals. Inspector generals or IGs are supposed to monitor and investigate government departments, ensuring that they are honest and lawful. Trump argues that many IG offices have become too close to the agencies that they're supposed to oversee. To prevent bias, he plans to make each IG's office independent and separate from the departments they monitor. Number seven, checking intel agencies' powers. Trump's plan calls for Congress to create an independent audit system to keep a close watch on intel services like the CIA and NSA. This would prevent these agencies from spying on American citizens or running campaigns to manipulate public opinion. Number eight, relocating federal departments. During his previous term, Trump launched an effort to move some federal agencies out of Washington, D.C., a move he calls moving them out of the swamp. He argues that moving government offices to other areas in the US would help reduce the influence of powerful DC insiders. Number 9, banning the revolving door in government. A common issue in Washington is what some call the revolving door, where government officials move from regulatory roles to private companies that they once regulated. Trump believes that this can lead to conflicts of interest and make bureaucrats more interested in future corporate jobs than public service. Number 10, supporting term limits for Congress. Finally, Trump wants a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. By limiting the number of terms they can serve, Trump believes it would help prevent politicians from staying in office for decades and growing out of touch with ordinary Americans. His ideas are radical, are likely to stir a fire in Washington, D.C. From media to left leaning tycoons, everybody will now go after Trump to ensure he backs off. The question is, will you, the American people, be there to support him through thick and thin?